Yes guys, welcome back to the channel. So this off-season, the Lakers have been very busy getting Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, Marc Gasol, Wes Matthews, and even got that Alfonso McKinney guy from the Cleveland Cavaliers, which I'm sure he'll be good. And obviously they waived Jordan Bell, so he won't be at the team. But the Lakers have 2 more roster spots available for 2 more veteran minimum contracts. So 2 more players to fill out the Lakers roster going into the 2020-2021 season to see can they repeat. Now these players, they won't be playing too much minutes, maybe 10 minutes a game max, but they will be, they need people to, to fill out the squad, and there's still some things the Lakers need to improve on, and still some pieces they need to add. Now the current roster, as it stands, our starting point guard will probably be Dennis Schroeder, then shooting guard of KCP, obviously LeBron, small forward, AD in the power forward, and maybe Marc Gasol as our starting center. Then coming off the bench we have Alex Caruso, Wesley Matthews, Kyle Kuzma, Markieff Morris, and Montrezl Harrell. And of course then 2 other players, we got Taylor Horton-Tucker and Alfonso McKinney, as I said, to fill out the squad. So we need 2 more players, 2 more veteran minimum contracts. And some positions we need to fill in. We need a rim protector, Yes, we got Marc Gasol in this weekend, and also Montrezl Harrell, 2 very good additions. They can bring different stuff. They can spread the floor. Marc Gasol can spread the floor. Montrezl Harrell, a fighter, a great player to have. But losing Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, we're losing about 7 foot off each of them. We're losing some rim protection. And, someone said in that Marc Gasol video, our rim protection will suffer, and I agree with them. So we need to bring in another center. Now, I would have wanted Boogie Cousins, but he's gone to Houston Rockets, as I made a video on yesterday. But we need I think there's still 1 more person out there. This is best case scenario, and that person is Hassan Whiteside. We all know Hassan Whiteside. We saw him play against the Lakers for the Portland Trail Blazers in that round 1 of the Western Conference playoffs. So Hassan, he will be able to accept his role because after that bad spell in Miami, that is the Portland Trail Blazers last year, and he was their backup center to Nurkic. So he'll accept his role because he's done it before, and I think he's the best case scenario for the Lakers. Last year's stats, Hassan averaged 15.5 points per game, 13.5 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 2.9 blocks per game, shooting 66.6% from the free throw line, 62.1% from the field, and 57.1% from 3. And he's only 31, and of course he's at that 7 foot, so he'll bring that height and rim protection we'll need. If he gets his 10 minutes a night, averaging a double-double here last year with the Blazers, he'll have a bigger role with the Blazers, so a lesser role if he joins the Lakers next year. But, if he can just give us even rebounding, if he can give what Dwight Howard gave us last year, that's more than enough. That'll do the job for us. That's what we need. So, as I said, best case scenario is Hassan Whiteside. He led the league in blocks last year. Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee did a great job blocking the ball and all that stuff. But Hassan Whiteside led the league in blocks. So, he'd bring that rim protection we need to fill in. As I said, he came off the bench for Portland last year, so he'll accept his role. He's already done it with Portland, with a lesser team. Now he's going to a championship team, so he'll for sure accept his role. And of course, he would accept the veterans minimum contract because he got that with Portland last year, and there's some rumors that Portland are not going to be re-signing Hassan Whiteside this year. They have Nurkic and they got Kanter from Boston, so they won't be needing Hassan Whiteside. Teams interested in Whiteside. I saw something by the Lakers and Sacramento Kings interested. I don't know how it's not Wolves or Shams level, but a bit of interest on Hassan Whiteside. It's good. I think we should go for him. I think he's on a veteran minimum contract. He's the best deal out there, the best center we can get. Now, another deal. Let's just say best case scenario, we get Hassan Whiteside. Great. Another position we need is a point guard. Now, of course, the Los Angeles Clippers need a point guard, and they need a point guard who can bring the ball up the court, get his own shot. Well, that's what the Lakers needed last year when into the bubble when they got Deion Waiters, but we'll get onto him in a minute. And the Clippers need the exact same thing. They didn't get Rondo. We lost Rondo. Yes, we got Schroeder, but we could do 1 more point guard. I don't think Alex Caruso is ready to be that primary point guard just yet. And even if he is, we still need another. A little bit more depth in that position. Caruso is versatile, so we still need a bit more depth. And I think best case scenario is Reggie Jackson. He's with the Clippers last year, and it's not clear yet if the Clippers are going to resign him. They probably will because they need a player like Reggie Jackson. Lakers and Clippers are both fighting for a point guard. so it wouldn't surprise me if he never re-signed with the Clippers. But you know, they haven't re-signed him yet, and so he's a free agent. He's open on the market. And I think if possible at all, after losing Quinn Cook, Rajon Rondo, ball handlers, he can create, especially with Quinn Cook, he can create his own shot. He can shoot the three. We need to replace him. I think Reggie Jackson is the best case scenario we can get to replace those players. So last year, Reggie, he averaged 11.9 points per game, 3 rebounds, 4.1 assists per game. He shot 39.3% from the 3-point line, which is good. That's what we need. He shot 41.1% from the field. He's only 30 years old, 6'3", so not the tallest, but that's okay for the point guard. 83.3% he shot from the free throw line, which is very good. Get to the line and knock him down. And Reggie, as I said, he shot 39% from the three last year. He played the Clippers, as I also said, and he's always a few teams will be interested in Reggie. He's exactly what we need. He can bring the ball up, he can bring the ball up the court, he can, as I said, he can knock down the three, he can create his own shot, average a few assists as well. I think, and most importantly, veterans minimum contract. He'd accept that. He was on that last year to Clippers, and I think he'll accept that role as well at the Lakers, going for a championship, discount, if we're going for a championship team. And I think this would be a great move for the Lakers if they can get him in, bit of experience as well. And he knows the Clippers locker room as well, so that's also no harm. Also got Montrez for that as well. And taking away from the Clippers, making their job even harder just off season. So hopefully, best case scenario, the Lakers could get Hassan Whiteside and Reggie Jackson, both on veteran minimum contracts, to fill out their roster this year. And I think if I choose between one of them, it has to be Hassan Whiteside. I think he's a must. We do need another centre, even with Marc Gasol, Montrez. I don't want AD playing in the centre. I want him power forward. So I think we definitely need Hassan Whiteside. If it isn't Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, we need some more height. Montrez is only barely 6'7". Marc Gasol is 6'11". He's not as good a defender as he once was. Still a very good defender, and I'm very happy to deal. He brings a lot of other stuff other than defense, but he's not the same. Hassan Whiteside is a good defender, average 15.5 points per game, which is, he can get the bucket, he can get a few buckets. Average a double-double, 13.5 rebounds. That's what we need. We need to do the Dwight Howard role. That would really help us out. Reggie, of course, I think would be an excellent move by the Lakers. But if I had to pick one of them, it would be Hassan. But we do need 2 spots, so I want both. Now, other notable free agents out there that Lakers could target: Kyle Korver, LeBron's former teammate in Cleveland. He wouldn't not our point guard that we need, more of a shooting guard. But he's out there in the free agent. He shot, and we all know he's a 3-point. He's one of those 3-point people. They can just shoot threes. He shot 41.8% from 3-point last year. He's 40 years old now, so he's getting really on now. But he could bring a lot. Obviously he'll bring 3-point shooting. He won't be needing to play big minutes for the Lakers. If we get him small minutes, bring experience to the locker room, help people like Taylor and Tucker, help those young guys. And he knows LeBron, so they get on. So, and he is 40 years old though. That's the only thing. He's getting on a bit, but again, we're not going to be asking for big minutes off him. Another player that they could get is Shabazz Napier from the Washington Wizards. He's a free agent, obviously. And this guy, point guard, he would fit. If we can't get Reggie Jackson, this guy's out there. He can create his own shot, as I said, as we need. But his shot is inconsistent. He's not a consistent scorer, so maybe that might put the Lakers off. And of course, we got Dion Waiters, a former Laker, with us last year. Might we still sign him? Of course, he's a shooting guard, but we saw him last year in the bubble, before he got injured. He can score. He can still get a bucket. I saw him last year and he's got buckets. He can score. Doesn't play defense, so if we do re-sign him, Vogel will have to do something for him. But again, not big minutes to be playing, so maybe we can get away with it. He can get a bucket if we need it. He can shoot. He can get his own shot, and he can show that he can bring the ball up the court. So I think this will be a good. If we couldn't get people like Reggie Jackson, Dion Waiters is probably up there with Shabazz Napier as a backup point guard. We can stick him there. Anyways, that's a quick video. Tell me who you think the Lakers should fill out their roster with. People might want to bring back Jared Dudley. Maybe the J.R. Smith fan base might come out. I don't know. Tell me who you think the Lakers should sign to fill out their roster for this offseason. And with that said, like the video, subscribe. There'll be plenty, any bit of NBA news, even if there's not going to be NBA news, I'm going to be trying to make a video for you guys every day. And when there is NBA news, I'm going to be straight to it, and it's going to be there too. So make sure to like the video, subscribe. Once you subscribe, turn on notifications, because once there's news, I'm going to be there The video's gonna be there. It might be out straight away. Sometimes I'm early, sometimes I'm late to it. I live in Ireland. The news comes in later to me. Sometimes it comes earlier. Depends where you're living. But once I get it, I can find it and I'll give it to you. Alright guys, with that said, I'm out of here.